So this is my second go at doing the wax melts. This time I'm using a porcelain clay, because of course I've used up all of my brown clay except what's sitting in my reclaim bucket. This clay was super soft and I had to let it sit out for a bit out of the bag, actually beside my kiln that was firing at the time, so it was nice and warm, so it firmed up a little bit more. Wedged the heck out of it and was able to throw it. So this is just centering the clay, going for that hockey puck sort of shape. And then straight down the center. And because I've been throwing for so long, I know how far down to go without having to measure my bottom. I still go too thin sometimes, you know what happens. And then I make my floor and pull up the wall, the very first pull, all in one fell swoop. So this is still kind of neat for me to watch too, because usually I'm looking down on my pot and did not realize that that rim was quite so wonky, but you know, it happens. And these ones, it's not such a big deal if the rim is a bit off, because it's going to be flared out and then a little bowl is going to sit on top of it, and honestly, when it's not spinning, it's suddenly not wonky. Amazing how that happens, like magic. So there's my last pull. I just want a nice cylinder with a flared out rim that a little bowl can sit on. Because what's going to happen is when it's leather hard, I'm just getting the water out of the bottom there. When it's leather hard and you can handle it without squishing it, clean up the bottom. I tend not to trim my cylinders and mugs and things if I can help it. And then cut out a piece on the side for a tea light to go in. And then a little small bowl will sit on top. So there I am, just measuring with my calipers to make sure I'm wide enough. And then I cut it off and move the tile onto my shelf. And then this is me throwing the little bowls. So what I did was throw it off the hump. So I have about, I don't know, 4 pounds of clay. I didn't even weigh it. I don't have to center the whole thing. I just have to center the top. You can't see it from my hand, but I'm just measuring out kind of a little bit on the top, getting it centered. There it is there. Into the center. I don't want to go too far down because I just want a little shallow bowl, a little squish of water. And flare it out. Really gentle fingers. I'm not pushing very hard with the clay. Whoop, and there goes the phone. Let's just measure it with my calipers. It's not quite wide enough. And one thing I found too was I was going really fast with my throwing off the hump. It wasn't until I was cutting them off that I actually slowed the wheel down. Measure with the calipers again. Take the water out of the center so it's not sitting there getting sloshy. And then I just use a rib now. I used to use a string to try and cut them off, but it never worked. This is the easiest method. So it sticks to the rib a little bit. I just put it on my bat, and then I can start on the next one. So I threw about 6 or 8 of the cylinder bodies, and then I always throw at least one extra of whatever I'm attaching, so, or adding on. So teapots, I do 2 spouts, 2 lids for each teapot, because you never know once it gets off the wheel if the shape is going to fit with the teapot shape. With these ones I did extra little bowls because you never know if you're measuring it properly, or if it gets distorted as you're taking it off, or if in the drying process it cracks. You just always have to have extra. So there's the second one. Sorry for the long video. I did try to edit it down. I'm still learning how to do all this TikTok stuff. And I just kept going until I had about a pound of clay sitting on my wheel, and then I made a bowl just because I could. So you can see how fast you can do them off the hump. They were small little pieces, so they don't take a lot of time anyway, but it's a lot easier to do it this way than try and center less than half a pound of clay on your wheel. Way easier. Surprisingly, centering small pieces of clay on the wheel is a lot harder than you think.